Welcome, good evening, and thank you for the invitation. Cherrydale Civic Association, Waverly Hills, Maywood, Woodmont, and Donaldson Run Civic Association. I'm your neighbor. I live on Military Road for the past 34 years. So this is my neighborhood. I'm Violand-Sanchez. I'm running for re-election for the school board. I have been on the school board for 4 years and currently I'm the chair. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Bolivia. I came here when I was 16 years old. I received a scholarship, went to college. I became a teacher. I have a doctorate in education and I have lived in Arlington for 34 years. I'm a member of the civic organization Donaldson Run, but what I have dedicated my life for 31 years has been to Arlington Public Schools. I have retired from the schools and now I am an adjunct professor at Georgetown and I'm also the Arlington representative to the Northern Virginia Community College. So what are my priorities right now? I believe that we have to have, given my strong background in education, I'm really qualified to support the school system to ensure academic excellence for students. We must prepare our students for a global, technological-driven workplace, and we have to give them a strong foundation in interpersonal communication, as well as foreign language proficiency. This requires that we have excellent teachers. We need adequate facilities for our growing student population. We are busting at the seams. We have 103 relocatables. We need to build new schools and several additions. We have to work with the community to build partnerships. And as school board member, I assure you that we need collaboration with the parents, community, and the county board. I do ask you for your vote on November 6th. I also ask you to vote for no assignment and for the school bond. Thank you.
Good evening. It is good to be in my home association. I live just down the street. My name is Noah Simon. I'm thrilled to be running for school board. Since I decided to run back in November, I've had hundreds of meetings. I've met with parents and staff. I've met with students and teachers. I've met with Democrats and Republicans. And the question I get the most is, why are you running? To me, it's quite simple. Like every parent in this room, I want our schools to be the best they can possibly be. I believe that great schools lead to great communities, and that's very important to me. I have dedicated hundreds of volunteer leadership hours to school-related issues. And simply put, I now want to have a vote. I want to be able to put my style of leadership and my ideas to the test to make a lasting impact in Arlington Public Schools. My professional background has prepared me for this. I've been a budget analyst on Capitol Hill and a director of strategic partnerships at the American Red Cross. My current job, though, as a stay-at-home dad is certainly the most rewarding. It's here where I got involved with school issues. I'm on the Budget Advisory Council, the County Council of PTAs, I'm on a School Advisory Committee. The 5 priorities that I want to focus on, I say within the context of a budget. We are very well funded here in Arlington Public Schools, but we don't have unlimited resources. The first is to address our overcrowding. Next is to attract, develop, and retain the highest quality staff through creative incentives. Next is to get at our achievement gaps. And the final 2 include infusing appropriate technology into the classroom to supplement, not replace instruction, and working towards a comprehensive wellness policy for our students and staff. I look forward to your questions, and I thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, we have 2 questions from the listserv, and then we'll take other questions. The first one is on the busing program at Arlington Schools. Changes were recently made to the Arlington school busing program with no parent input. The appeals process has been frustrating, with parents receiving form letters and little, if any, information provided on why decisions were made. Why was this allowed? How do we know this will never happen again? And will there be a follow-up review to see if, in fact, the new busing program is more efficient? At Glebe School, there are a lot of near-empty buses arriving at school and a lot more cars. That doesn't seem very efficient.
I understand how the change in the bus transportation system has affected many families and students. It is a very complex problem that we are trying to get a handle on. I have said publicly, the way that the transportation system was implemented at the 2 weeks before school started is unacceptable. Now, our transportation system, and it may require a little bit more than 1 minute because it's a complex question. Is it okay? Our transportation system now is enforcing the walk zones. Previously, parents received the bus schedule, and so they did go to the next bus stop. But now we are enforcing that. Now, what we have found as of yesterday, we have looked at the new system. It is quite complex, that we understand that in some buses there's space, like it was mentioned at Glee. We also understand that there's problems with some of the appeals, and some of the parents are receiving denials of appeals without reason. I have advocated from the beginning, from the first board meeting, we have to, I directed the superintendent with support with other board colleagues, we need a transportation committee, we need input from the parents, we need to have a short-term plan to address these overcrowding issues that we have in our school system, because those numbers translate in buses. Currently, we have about 120 buses. We have looked at the system and there's not too much flexibility. However, I say, we believe that we need to build flexibility in our transportation system. This is not just about buses, this is about children. So I want to see that all our children get safely to school.
As I've said from the start, when the busing policy was changed, the transportation system for APS, for Arlington Public Schools, clearly was broken. The consultant's report showed that last year, and as I read through that, it became clear both at the operational level, which is kids on buses, as well as the organization level, which is the back office function. So something needed to be done. As Emma said, a couple of weeks' notice, though, to parents is completely unacceptable. I think one of the signs of effective leadership is admitting when you're wrong. And both the superintendent has done that, and Emma's done that to her credit, and they're working hard to correct the problem. Having said that, I'm heartened to see that what the school board did in their meeting 2 times ago was to adopt a policy, basically, of priorities. And in the priorities, it said to review the transportation policy. If I'm on the board, what I will do is I will look at the transportation policy and make reasonable revisions where there need to be. Is a 1-mile walk zone appropriate for a 2nd grader? I have a 2nd grader, we go to Science Focus and I walk my daughter to school every day. 1 mile would be tough. We live a 1/4 of a mile exactly, and it takes us about 12 minutes. So looking at distance, but more importantly, thinking creatively as well. If it's not just distance, what else could we look at? Perhaps what we could look at and use as the metric is walk time. It takes a 2nd grader a lot longer to walk somewhere than it does, say, a 7th grader. So I think thinking creatively is something that I'm prepared to do. I look forward to do it, and I commit to make reasonable changes if those are necessary.
Okay, another question, this time from the audience. Hindsight is always 20/20. How confident are you in the board's, the school board's, most recent choice for superintendent of schools after there has been so much turnover in administration and senior staff, and of course the transportation fiasco?
You okay, Maureen, to be alternate?
Yeah. I'll keep to the 1 minute this time.
There are several things that under the superintendent's leadership that have been done effectively. One is test scores. Test scores are not everything, but they're certainly something. Our test scores among most of our students are up. Our AP classes taken by students are up as well. Our parent satisfaction, regardless of the topic we just talked about last year, showed that it was up. The problems that I see right now with the superintendent's leadership is that teacher satisfaction is down. I've heard about a culture of fear. I mentioned the hundreds of meetings I've had. I've met with several teachers, and I do hear about a culture of fear. We trust teachers to be with our kids for 6 hours a day. Certainly we can trust them to give input into the school system. The other concern is the senior staff that's leaving. I will say that some of the senior staff that's left, they were there for 32 years. Turnover is going to happen in any large organization. I know that from working at the Red Cross. What I will do is I will ask the superintendent, if I'm elected, tell me about this culture of fear and walk me through what was done to keep these senior leaders.
Regarding the leadership in Arlington Public Schools, yes, we have had changes in staff, but many of those changes had to do due to retirement. Some other senior staff members left. One of them is right now acting superintendent in Prince George's County. So we will continue to have transition. Is there a concern when we have new staff members coming in? Yes, but we understand that there's change and that we have to adapt to change. Are there other concerns that as school board members, we evaluate the superintendent? And this is a major responsibility, I think, Noah, that we have to address, because we want to have a leader and we work with him to see that we address the problems that we have in our school system, as well as to praise for the advancement and the good achievement that we have in our students. So there are very good things going on in our school system, and staff has a lot to do with it. Thank you.